Our next quarterback is from the great state of New Jersey. As we open up Tier 3, this one may be a little bit of a surprise. So this one's one of the quarterbacks that you're higher on than other people out there.
I think so.
Your number 4 quarterback is?
Kyle McCord from Syracuse. Again, there's a lot to like with Kyle McCord. Again, I would tell you that I think he got a raw deal at Ohio State. That would be the first thing I would tell you, okay? That play was good enough there that where they could have kept him. And let me just say, I think his play that year, it was better than Will Howard's play this year that won the national championship. Okay, so we got rid of a guy who played better than the guy that we just saw win the national championship. I just want to state that. I had to say it. I'm sorry. Got a good-looking body, okay? That's the first thing. One of my favorite bodies of the whole group. That's what I would say.
In what
not
way?
Just athletic, strong-looking, right? It's not like it's ripped or too muscular like Will Levis. It's just the right blend of things. Now, he's not a crazy, awesome athlete, right? Another guy that I would say is, about average or maybe just barely above average for the modern-day quarterback and where we are right now. But his mechanics are flawless, all right? That's the first thing. Maybe a little robotical at time, right? As far as, you're not going to see sidearm and, let me adjust my arm angle. It's usually the same kind of throwing motion, throw after throw after throw, right? I do wish his release was a little bit faster, but he can let it rip. In fact, I think he can let it rip just about as good as anybody in this draft other than Cam Ward. I would say he makes the most power wow throws in the draft other than Cam Ward.
He might have the strongest arm. Is he the guy you were alluding to?
He's up there, and Jalen Milroe was the other guy that I would have thrown in that conversation, right? Now, he might not control it, but he might go, whoa, that was pretty impressive, right? Impressive. He can let it rip, and when he lets it rip, he can really control it. Throws great spirals, can really spin it, can make case, right? Still early. And this is right. His arm is only second to Cam Ward, right? And I'm about 5 or 6 quarterbacks in when I'm writing this down. I talked about the release being deliberate, right? It's not as quick as Cam, Shedeur, or Jackson Dart. He's a really aggressive decision maker, right? Decision maker like a Cam Ward. Great confidence in his accuracy in the power throws down the field, right? Gives the down the field throws every chance to succeed in the pocket to get open to make the throw. Now, that's a good thing and a bad thing. And if you want to get into the negatives because of that, hey, there's definitely 3 or 4 throws every game where you just go, hey, you can't fit that in there. Don't do that, right? That's his kryptonite. There's never a throw he doesn't see where he goes, I can get it in there. I can do it. Now, the encouraging thing is if you go from Ohio State and you watch the progression of the Syracuse season, you see it less and less and less. And especially after that 5-interception game he had against Pitt where I think he had 3 pick sixes, right?
Yeah.
That scarred him and changed him forever, right? I noticed a difference in his game where he was like the next week, I can't remember who they played, where he was like, I want to throw that, but I remember those 5 interceptions I threw last week. Let me learn from that and throw it somewhere else, right? And I do like that. Right, but those are, I guess, the baseline start of what I would want to say about Kyle McCord is that his throwing in the pocket, and especially his power throwing, is pretty damn elite. And there's some things that he can get better at, certainly, but there's a lot to like with Kyle McCord in his game overall.
He has his Syracuse Pro Day today, so maybe we'll see how he lights it up there.
He needs to light it up because the Pro Day was too conservative.
Okay.
The combine. Too conservative, didn't show his arm strength, was one of those guys you've heard me say before, worried about the completion percentage, where I'm just going, nobody gives a shit. Throw the laser.
You hope he lets it fly today.
I hope he lets it fly today. I want to see that, definitely.
So came out of high school, 5-star recruit.
Yep.
Was a high school teammate with Marvin Harrison. Backed up C.J. Stroud over at Ohio State for a couple of years. Won the starter job, as you mentioned, in 2023. But then Ryan Day basically said, you ain't going to be the guy this year, and so you might want to go find some other opportunities. And he did, and he set a school record at Syracuse with 29 touchdown passes. So I do like a little bit of the quarterback adversity, those that have faced that already. Right. And now he's got it, and it's like you've built up that callus, and you've been scarred a little bit.
Right. Like you're going to have to face that in the NFL, 100%. Right? I mean, almost anybody. I mean, you wouldn't have thought Caleb Williams was going to have to face it, but guess what? He's getting calloused and scarred right in front of us this year, right? I mean, it's part of the game. So there is some positives about that, definitely. And I don't, think he got a fair shake at Ohio State. And I would say if he was at Ohio State this year, they would have been better, and they would have won the national championship even easier. Okay?
Would they have beaten Michigan?
Yeah, I would say yes.
Now you got
there you go. Now I got them all. I got them all riled up.
Now you got them regretting everything.
But there are things. Okay, he doesn't make Will Howard runs better, right? And that's one thing with him that you see here. You go, hey, I love the mechanics. He keeps a great base in the pocket always. That leads to the consistent throwing motion and his feet and legs being underneath him to throw power footballs all the time, right? But he makes the least amount of plays with legs inside or outside the pocket. As the year goes on, he gets a little bit better, and he can run a little bit, right? He's faster than Jackson Dart. I think he's even maybe faster than Shedeur in a pure-out sprint, right? But not as elusive as Shedeur is. Shedeur's great side-to-side movement and agility to make people miss in the pocket that way, right? Not too many different arm angles. I wish there was a little bit better than that, but he is a machine throwing the football. And you know, as far as hitting the target or making the most explosive plays with his arms, again, like I said, it's him or Cam. Needs to move more. Too much flat-footed in the pocket. Throws it really well on the run. You know, and then the other thing I like about it too, he knows where his problems are. Again, another guy like a Jackson Dart, Shedeur, we saw that from Cam Ward, where they're not surprised by the blitz. They know where to get the ball out of the hand, where the quick throw is, the hot throw. So definitely coached up in that department. You could tell they know defenses and see blitzes. They're not just like, oh, gosh, somebody's here. Let me try to get it out of my hand real quick. So like that aspect about him. I think he's getting better in front of our eyes. He's not a finished product by any stretch of the imagination. It's only 2 years playing, right? But his high end is up there with the best guys in this draft that way. And so that's what I like it. And you know, I put a little more stock into that, right? There's just too many throws where I sit there and go, damn, I didn't see the other guys to make that throw right there, and he did. Again, Cam Ward would be the only one that is better than him in, whoa, what a 25-yard throw. Whoa, what a 30-yard throw. Whoa, what a 50-yard post down the middle, right? That's where I would give this kid, you know, some major props. But he's not as dynamic. He's not as slick with the football. His release is a little slower than all the guys we've talked about so far. And the decision-making can be a hair too aggressive at times. And those are the things that you got to kind of work with him as we go forward.
Pro Football Focus agrees with you, says McCord isn't for the faint of heart. He led the Power Four in both big-time throws and turnover-worthy plays in 2024. So some of that decision-making, maybe it got better as the year went on.
It did,
and
but
got
it's
scarred,
still there. Yep, it is there. It's just, and you know, it's one of those that we talk a lot about this guy or this, you know, hey, it stays on the first read too much, right? A little bit too long sometimes, where you're like, hey, come on, get off it. Go to the next one. Right? So that's something that he's going to have to get better at. But again, like you said, and like I said, you saw that later in the year. Makes a lot of good, quick decisions, quick, decisive decisions, right? Can put some heat on the ball, allows receivers the chance to maximize their yak. That would be the other thing that really jumped to me. You know, 7-8 yard completions, rifles over the middle that get there in a hurry to where the guy can snatch it down and run, instead of, you know, hey, there might have been some Jackson Dart throws where I'd go, hey, this guy's on the out route 20 yards and he just throws it nice out there. Okay, the guy catches it and gets pushed out of bounds. And I go, there goes Kyle McCord. He throws it. The guy has enough time to, oh, wait, I can stop myself from going out of bounds and now make a move and get yards after the catch, right? There's value in that. And those are things sometimes we don't look at. Right? There'll be a guy we're going to talk about in a second where I go, man, that 20-yard out route that I just saw Kyle McCord hit like a machine, boom, boom, boom. This guy sometimes tries to float it out there and it doesn't get completed because he lets the DB back into it to knock it down, or they push the receiver out of bounds just as he catches it, right? Where I go, again, those are yards left on the field that sometimes evaluators don't look at. And those are the things I liked about what he does.
Who would you NFL comp Kyle McCord to? Guys from the past?
I know.
Is there anyone that just pops to mind when his style, his deficiencies? You know, I mean, his style, for some reason, and it's not of this level, is Jay Cutler. Okay? It's not as strong as Jay Cutler, but he stands in the pocket, flat-footed on the ground, and tries to make power throws. And I don't know, he wears number 6, so maybe that's why that's in my brain. But that was the name that popped to me, right? And maybe I need to try to come up with a more of a modern-day, right now guy that would be in that, you know, type of conversation there. I believe NFL.com compared him to Mitch Trubisky as an NFL player.
Okay. I mean, I could see that. I think he's actually a more high-level thrower than even Mitch was coming out. Mitch was a good athlete, so we can't forget about that. And Mitch's arm was strong, but I don't think he could control the football the way this kid can. That's where I would give this kid an advantage over Mitch Trubisky in that department. But Mitch Trubisky, let's not forget, he was a damn good athlete when he was coming out of UNC.
He was.
Yeah.
All right, so your number 4 quarterback, Syracuse guy, broke records over there from my alma mater, Kyle McCord.
Thanks for watching Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Hey, just because the season's over, it doesn't mean we're over. We ain't going anywhere. The NFL never dies.
We're staying right here. Hit subscribe. We got every NFL move. We'll react to that. Plus, Chris has got 4,719 draft prospect profiles to do.
Thanks again for watching. Subscribe. You know where to find us. Peace out, homies.